Dear diary, there's a moment in life when you start seeing yourself clearly for the first time, not through the eyes of others, but through your own quiet truth. And when that moment arrives, something shifts. You begin to understand what you want, what you can no longer carry. And without meaning to, you start losing people, not through conflict, but through quiet distance, a slow drifting that happens when your truth grows. There's a moment when you begin to change without even noticing it. It starts quietly, a soft discomfort, a small truth you can't ignore anymore. You begin to sense that the way you've been living doesn't match who you're becoming. You notice the places where you've been shrinking, the conversations where you held back, the versions of yourself you created just to keep the peace. And slowly you feel something inside you shifting, a need for honesty, for space, a need to stop carrying what was never yours. It's subtle but unmistakable. And when you begin to change, solitude arrives quietly, not as a punishment, but as a space that opens around you when the noise you used to tolerate no longer feels like home. It's strange at first. You look around and realize that the people who once filled your days don't fit the same way anymore. Conversations feel different, connections feel thinner, and you start sensing a distance that you didn't choose but can ignore. There's a silence that follows growth, a silence that feels heavy in the beginning because it shows you how much of your life was built around keeping others close. But in that silence, there's yourself. When you begin to change, some friendships start to loosen, not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a thread slipping through your fingers. You notice it in small ways. Messages that feel different, silences that last longer, connections that once felt effortless now require a version of you that no longer exists. It's not anger, it's not betrayal, it's simply misalignment. You're growing in a direction they don't see, and they're staying in a place you can return to. And so the distance appears, soft, quiet, almost polite. A fading that doesn't ask for permission because it's not a choice, it's a consequence of becoming who you are. But even as some people drift away, there is a kind of company that stays, the small, steady presence of what is real. Your cats, the warmth of the sun, the quiet rituals that make you feel grounded. You begin to understand that not all companionship comes from people. Some of it comes from peace, from stillness, from the gentle parts of life that never asked you to be anything else. And in that quiet space, something new begins to grow. A sense of self you had forgotten, a softness you had neglected, a strength you didn't know you had. You start choosing differently. You start speaking more honestly. You stop apologizing for taking up space. And slowly you feel yourself returning. Not to who you were, but to who you were meant to become. This is the rebirth no one talks about. The moment you realize that losing people was never the end, it was the beginning of a new you, of a new self, and a new consciousness about the world around you. Dear Diary, I'm learning that growth isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It arrives softly in the quiet choices you make for yourself. And now, standing here, I see it clearly. I didn't lose anything. I simply made space for a life that finally feels mine. There's a gentle kind of strength in choosing yourself, in honoring your peace, in letting go of what no longer holds you with love. If you're watching this, maybe you're in that moment too. That soft transition where things feel uncertain, where people shift, where silence grows. I hope you know you're not alone. I hope you know that this quiet phase is not the end of anything, but the beginning of you. Thank you for being here with me, for sharing this small piece of my journey. If this video found you at the right time, stay a little longer. Breathe with me, grow with me.